கார்ப்பரேட் பண்ணிடுவாங்க.
அண்ணா சீனண்ணா வாங்க பாத்துக்கிறீங்க நீங்க இங்க
இது வந்து 3 பார்ட்டா டிவைட் ஆகிருக்கு. International business, financial. So இது வந்து 13 chapters international trading, 11 chapters international business, அப்புறம் 9 chapters international. அவங்களுக்கு வந்து international business.
Hi, Adam. How are you? You are on mute condition.
Dr. P, good morning. How are you?
Fine. How are you?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
I am Adam Abubakar Muhammad from Nigeria.
Yeah. I could see your name. I think we met in another meeting also. Earlier we met in meeting.
Okay, so it's a meeting, not not a webinar.
Yeah. That is that Bangladesh meeting.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
Welcome. Namaskaram, Malhotra sir.
Good afternoon.
Madan sir. Good afternoon.
Sir, namaste, sir. Namaste. Namaste, sir. Namaste.
Yes.
Good afternoon to everybody.
Good afternoon. How will we proceed today?
Good afternoon to everybody. Thanks.
Yeah, good afternoon, madam. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Congratulations, Mani sir. Congratulations. Okay.
Good morning, sir. Congratulations, Mani sir. Good morning, sir. Congratulations, sir. Hey.
Thank you.
Mani sir, congrats. Happy moments.
Please start.
I welcome dignitaries and those who are in the online mode. I welcome all of you to this important event in the life of Dr. N. Mani. Indian Economic Association is a century-old academic association in the field of economics. Currently, it is headed by Professor V.K. Malhotra, who is also Member Secretary of ICSSR, Professor D.K. Madan as Honorary Secretary, and running this academic body effectively and dynamically. We are proud of you, both of you. Indian Economic Association accepted its life member, Dr. N. Mani's request to release his book on international economics under the umbrella of prestigious Indian Economic Association. Today, all of us have gathered here for an academic exercise of releasing Dr. N. Mani's latest book on international economics. Dr. N. Mani is working as an associate professor in the Department of Economics and heading the Department 2. It is a government-aided college situated in Erode, Tamil Nadu. To initiate the book release function ceremony, let me invite Dr. N. Mani, author of the book, to welcome the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Srinivasan sir, accept to coordinate this function on behalf of our Indian Economic Association. At the outset, I welcome one and all present here in the off the dais and on the dais. I have not think about such type of function for my book in ICSR conference hall in front of these dignitaries and in front of you, those who are joined in the online, both in Zoom link as well as YouTube. But this is possible only because of Indian Economic Association and its chairman, Professor V.K. Malhotra ji, and Professor Honorary Secretary, Dr. Madan ji. Hence, I first of all welcome Professor Malhotra, who is the President of IEA, and now he is preside over the function and Member Secretary of IEA. Welcome you, sir. And I wholeheartedly welcome Professor Madan ji, who is the Honorary Secretary of IEA and Professor and Head University of Punjab University of Patiala in Punjab, and he has coordinated this program effectively since its inception and printing of invitation, and in every action he has guiding me to make this program as a success. I wholeheartedly welcome Professor Madan ji for this function, and I welcome wholeheartedly Professor Murli. He is a professor in international trade in Indian Institute of International Trade, Foreign Trade, and he is a specialist in WTO studies also, and he is the right person to review my book and comment my book, and he is the first reviewer of my book, and he has been suggested by Dr. Selvaraju, who is a health economist, one of my senior in my university, and he is the right choice, and he has read the book, and we are expecting the first review of Dr. Murli on my book. I wholeheartedly welcome Dr. Murli, and I welcome Dr. Rajalakshmi Madam. He is one of the senior most economists in our state, Tamil Nadu, and he is the pioneer in textbook, environmental economics textbook also. Such type of a wonderful madam, Professor Rajalakshmi has joined to deliver felicitation address for this function in the online virtual mode. I welcome you, madam. And I welcome Dr. P. Arunachal, Professor and Head, Department of Applied Economics, Cochin University of Science and Technology, and one of the long-term well-wisher of me in my career. And he is also ready to felicitate me in this August gathering. Welcome you, sir. And then I welcome Dr. V.N. Subramaniam. He is going to join here very shortly in this function. He is leading one of the leading advocate in Supreme Court of India, and he is holding many capacities in Supreme Court functions. Such type of personality as shortly is going to join physically in this function. Welcome you, sir, for felicitation. And I welcome Dr. Silverhead. He is a well-known health economist, and he has served in many countries, and including World Bank and WHO. And now he is currently also is a health consultant for various agencies in various countries, and he is helping me in every step to make this function yes successfully. He is like my brother and well-wisher. He has joined with me. I wholeheartedly welcome for this function, sir, for his felicitation. And I welcome Dr. Srinivasan. He is one of my good friend of me, and he is also joining with me for not only in this program, and he is joined with me for various programs. And we are also often we think about so many economic activities, including some certain educational activities. Since he is working in NCRT, we are discussing so many things. Such a nice person is joining here for felicitation, and also now he is coordinating this program. I welcome you, Dr. Srinivasan. And I welcome Dr. Meghanathan. He is a professor of English in NCRT, and he is a good friend of me. And I welcome wholeheartedly, sir. And one of the press correspondent is from Hindu Tamil, Sabi Munna. He has joined with us. He has deputed from Hindu. He has a special duty on this particular event. I am so happy about his joining. Then the officials, those who are presented here in our ICSSR, and those who are helping to make this function in ICSR with the leadership of Professor Malhotra. I welcome all the dignitaries and officials, those who are in ICSR. And Sandeep Suri, he has joined in our publisher, managing director of this usage publications. He is not able to, unfortunately, he is not able to come today. He has planned to come here, but it is not possible. He has joined with us in the online. I welcome wholeheartedly Sandeep Suri. And then, yes, with this few words, I welcome all the dignitaries, those who are joined in the online virtual mode through Zoom link as well as YouTube link. My family members also joined in the either Zoom link or their senior economists like Surya Kumar and the people from Andhra Pradesh, our IE members were joined. I wholeheartedly welcome all of them for this function. These few words, I conclude my welcome address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mani. India has many associations promoting the economics as a discipline, and associations have hundreds of members, both life member and annual memberships. But inviting a lifetime member to Delhi and promoting his production, because we know that today we are living in globalized era, and when you go to any shops, you will find authors from foreign, as if that there is no authors who can write on the subject of economics. You can find in the bookshops, but an association which is nearly, in fact, more than 100 years old, inviting a member and promoting his book or introducing to the book its members is very rare occasion. And we are indebted to the association for this initiative. And we hope that many members of the Indian Economic Association will come forward, contribute right in the context of India on the area of many economic issues. Let's go to the book release ceremony. Now I request Professor B.K. Malhotra to release the book, and I request Professor Madan to receive the first copy of the book.
I think we can gather. Please one copy for each.
You can also take them. Sir, sir, all of you look here, smile. That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Professor Malhotra will deliver the presidential address. In a short while, Professor Malhotra will deliver the presidential address. Before that, I request Professor Madan to facilitate the book release function. Let me have introduce Professor Madan. Professor Madan is currently serving as Professor and Head Department of Economics, Punjab University, Patiala. He has put on more than 30 years of service promoting economics education in the country and specialized in international economics and international relations. He has guided many MPhil and PhD scholars, published more than 100 research articles and 4 books. I request Professor Madan to deliver his facilitation address.
Thank you. Esteemed Professor V.K. Malhotra, President Indian Economic Association and Member Secretary ICSS. Dr. N. Mani, Professor Murli from IIT, Professor N. Rajlakshmi, who have joined online, Professor P. Arunachalam, who also joined online, Professor B. N. Subramanian, Dr. V. Selva Raju, Dr. M. V. Srinivasan, and publisher Mr. Sandeep Suri. Many IA delegates, members of the Indian Economic Association who have joined, especially I see this thing, Professor Renu Jatana, Dr. Revati, and so many other participants are here in this function. I welcome to all of you. Firstly, I congratulate to Dr. N. Mani for writing a wonderful book on international economics. Here, I have gone through the book in a short while. I saw that the book is divided into 3 parts of economics. And in that one, he covered international trade, international business, and international finance. So these 3 basic areas have been covered in one book only. And really, this book has covered so many other aspects, including environment and other issues under the topic international business. So I really see this thing that this book will be very much useful to the students of economics at undergraduate as well as postgraduate. And in that context, I really very much surprised that Dr. Mani has written so many books, and in that context also, he has covered so many aspects, and working in the college and writing such relevant literature for the students, that is a very marvelous achievement. So once again, I congratulate to Dr. Mani for this book. Thank you very much. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Dr. Madan. Book review is the heart of any book release function. Before I requesting Dr. Professor Murli to review the book, let me say a few words about Professor Murli Kallumal. I know Professor Murli Kallumal the last 25 years. When I landed up in Jawaharlal Nehru University for my PhD, and he was the one who said, "Please come and stay with me." I was looking for the rooms and I was looking for a Tamilians, and said, "Though I'm not a Tamilian, but you come and stay with me." That showed his unanimity. We can never forget. Professor Murli Kallumal has a PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University. Though I know personally, when I went through his website in his institute, it ran into 24 pages, and even 5 years before. So it's very difficult to explain his contribution, but I know that he's a professor of Center for WTO Studies. He is also actively contributing to the policy making in the area of WTO. Many of trade agreements, he has been actively maintaining the huge database of Ministry of Foreign Trade. And he has been writing continuously and participating on behalf of Government of India in the international forums. Let me invite Professor Murli to speak about the book.
Thank you, Srinivasan, for a generous and very elaborate introduction. I never expected this sort of an introduction. Persons on the dais, esteemed persons on the dais, Professor Malhotra and Mandan, sir, and also Professor Mani, and people from the audiences and also online and offline. Professor Mani has written a wonderful book. Actually, concisely and precisely brought out many aspects into one book. As Professor Madan made my task a little more easier. He has brought in, international trade, international business, and international finance to one concise book of 238 pages. The book's relevance is actually largely in the context of choice-based credit system, which is the new education policy brought out by UGC, which tries to bring in equity, efficiency, and excellence in higher education, and wants to standardize education across India on one line, on one benchmark. So anybody who studied in Bihar, or anybody who studied in, say, Kerala, or anybody who studied in Tamil Nadu would have a similar level of understanding and similar level of appreciation of the things. So in that context, what you have done is a wonderful job. And let me, it's truly indigenous, in the sense of printing, but concepts from the international trade has been brought into the discussion, which is alien to us, which are actually quite new to us. And we have to accommodate these new things within our framework, also to understand the relevance and context of international business and trade. So international trade is a very dynamic aspect, and that has been well captured in your book. I do have some reservations with respect to certain concepts and certain things, but we will discuss it, maybe for a later print, we can bring in this sort of corrections. So let me list out what you've done in the international trade aspect. So international trade and trade development, free trade versus fair trade. Of course, you've not used another term for fair trade, but I'm trying to bring in fair trade, because free trade is not the end in itself. You also need to have fair trade, like trade difference system based on import surge and various other concepts, which you also addressed a very important concept called domestic endowment and comparison. Of course, you've not addressed it as many words as domestic endowment, but I put it here. So the meaning is not there, but there is a link to when you're doing a comparative advantage analysis, you also have a domestic endowment, which you are actually trying to bring out in a larger and in a better manner. Then you are looking at balance of payment, theories of exchange rate determination. These are very new concepts, and also used in the dynamic concepts, also used widely. Exchange rate, terms of trade. So this is a new it's an area which was less researched upon, terms of trade. Tariff and non-tariff barriers. Okay, so here again, you have brought in non-tariff barriers. Like I don't know whether one has to look at it. I don't recall SPS and TBT and other 14 other barriers which you try to accommodate into one. Then you also talked about regional and multilateral trade agreements. So there is an address also to WTO and trade and environment. Although I feel it should come in the later international business. So it's not part of the international trade. It should become the later sections international business, because WTO and trade and environment are trade-related aspects. One is an environment which is trade-related, and WTO largely deals with disciplines and commercial transactions between countries and WTO members, 164 members. Well, this is actually covering 13 chapters. So maybe you could actually think of shifting WTO and balancing the later section on international business, and that then become holistic in itself. So the moment you come with WTO in the next section, then I think everything falls, globalization and rejection of the decoupling, everything falls in place. So WTO is the main initiator of globalization, and it actually became it acted as a pivot to globalization. You also brought in growth of MNCs, which is very, very important. OEMs are becoming increasingly important in the global supply chain. So whenever we talk of global supply chain, the resilience of supply chain also comes up. So there actually, when you talk about sustainability and resilience in supply chain, so these are actually, you need to have a predictable system of a supply chain, active and always supplying things in a sustainable manner. Location of industry has also been brought in, along with that mergers and acquisitions have also brought in. So these are very, very, very interlinking concepts, and also very important for any student of degree and postgraduate to understand and appreciate. Intellectual property also has been brought in, but here again, I have some reservations, because you have only covered 4 aspects of intellectual property protection, but there are 7 which we can discuss about, later on. I don't intend to criticize you on all aspects, but so there are certain things which actually, from my understanding and from my reading of the WTO, because that's the area where I'm trying to intervene and talk more negatively. But I hope you appreciate it, So labor movement and some of the other aspects like internet industry, e-marketing and e-commerce have also been covered very well. Book. So that corporate social responsibility, industrial activities and environmental pollution, and also international economic problems and challenges. So these are some of the things which, challenges are always emerging and dynamic. So this Russia-Ukraine war has brought this food crisis along all over the world, and also oil prices. So oil price increases and gas price increases and squeezing of the supply. All of this happened. Also the food. So there was a scarcity of food around the world, and it hit mostly the poor people. Then the third part of the book talks about financial movement, which again is a very important element, which is less talked about. When you talk about goods sector, one can see more transparent modes of transaction, But in the financial side, you actually see a very opaque. You're trying to capture, many of the systems, financial system and financial economics, international financial crisis, regional and international financial integration. I don't know how good we are in terms of regional and financial integration. SARC has done some initiatives, and there are also at the multilateral level some initiatives. Of course, you have brought in foreign direct investment and tax incentives to attract foreign direct investment. This area has never been talked about. Tariff jumping FDIs, and to avoid whenever an FDI is signed, the highest countries will see less of an FDI. So, generally, this was observed in the ASEAN case, India-ASEAN FTA. We had a very high tariff, average high tariff. So when we reduced the tariff, the margin of the trade diversion which happened was a large amount ASEAN countries. They suddenly got an advantage because of the reduction in tariff in India. Most of these ASEAN companies shifted to ASEAN basis. You also discussed about portfolio theory and foreign portfolio investments. This is a very hot money which actually comes in. It's unlike FDI, FIIs and FIPs. Also discussed about foreign borrowings and foreign aid. No, we have forgotten about foreign aid. So that concept has been brought in here. World Bank, its affiliates in International Monetary Fund. So all these aspects have been dealt well and discussed in detail, one line, two line, but most effective. Concisely, precisely, and effective. So let me actually wish you all the best, and that's all from my side as part of the book review. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kannaman. Now, let me invite Dr. N. Radhalakshmi, a senior economist from Tamil Nadu. I met her when I was a student in Chennai, a couple of times in the Department of Economics. She's a well-known teacher in the Madras University. She specialized in environmental economics. And for her credit, she has published more than 100 research papers in the field of economics. Let me thank again Professor Radhalakshmi for joining with us on the virtual mode. I request Professor Radhalakshmi to facilitate the Professor Radhalakshmi, can you hear the voice? Can you just unmute yourself? Can you just unmute? There's a she's on right now. He said, and she's there. She used to be there. Yeah. Okay. Otherwise, it's not online. She's there. Yeah. Number 3 years. But no, that's okay. Then next. Okay. Yeah. Professor Radhalakshmi will be joining shortly. Let me request Professor Arunachalam to facilitate the gathering. Before that, let me introduce a few words about Dr. Arunachalam. Dr. Arunachalam is a well-known academician. He is heading the Department of Applied Economics in Cochin University of Science and Technology. He has published a number of books and articles. I request Dr. Arunachalam to facilitate the book release function.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Dr. Arunachalam, yeah, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Who presented for a book written by my close friend Dr. Mani. At the outset, let me congratulate our Indian Economic Association President and Secretary, President Malhotra sir and Secretary Madan sir, and for creating an environment in which Mani sir is there to release his book. And so on behalf of myself, on behalf of my department, I congratulate Mani. one of the important aspect of this book is that, in fact, I am teaching international economics for the last 33 years. And so generally, I mean, I used to ask our students to refer both Waterston and also, I mean, so many, I mean, foreign books written by foreign authors. But after Modi ji started giving much importance for indigenization of our books and others, we have to write about our history, we have to write about our social system, we have to write about our, we have to give example from our own side. Not referring, I mean, we have to have the concept. At the same time, we have to quote references from our, I mean, trade activities, our trade promotion activities, our experience with free trade, our experience with, I mean, how we are getting foreign direct investment, how we are, I mean, what are the problems we are having in balance, current account deficit, like that. I mean, we have to focus on our issues when we discuss about, I mean, international economics. But generally, most of the foreign books, we could see examples of their own countries, examples of, I mean, their own regions, examples of their own problems in balance of payment, disequilibrium, and other related issues. In that respect, we have to welcome our Mani sir's, I mean, book on international economics. I feel proud of, I mean, be associated with his book release function. I am always, I mean, with him only. I mean, he released so many books, environmental related issues, and even before that also, so all his, I mean, functions I used to be there. But in this function, I mean, I am joining online. I mean, so I once, on behalf of you all present here, I congratulate Mani. I realize it's a broad moment for me also. I mean, he has my own, I mean, close friend. I mean, he is a member of Indian Economic Association also. I mean, releasing his book on international economics, and I'm very much thankful to him for having this opportunity also. And thank you very much for the, I mean, giving this opportunity. I thank you very much for everybody present here. Thank you. Congratulations, Mani sir.
Can you hear our voice, Professor Nichalam?
Yes, I already congratulated him for his, I mean, for writing a book on international economics. So I as a part of, I mean, Indian Economic Association, I am once again, I congratulate Mani sir for bringing us. Congratulations.
Thank you, Professor Nichalam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Now, let me invite Mr. Subramaniam to facilitate this book. Before inviting him, let me speak a few words. Mr. Subramaniam is a senior advocate in the Supreme Court of India. He has served in many capacities in the court. Formerly, he was also the Advocate General of Haryana, Government of Haryana. He has engaged himself in many social services too in Delhi. I request Professor Mr. Subramaniam to facilitate the book in this August gathering.
Very good morning to everyone. Mr. Murali and Srinivasan, everybody is very good morning. But regarding that, I am very pleasure to hear. I am joined with Mr. Mani sir. He is an immediate senior to my college. That is a very most important to hear. I am also BA Economics and MA Economics student. After economics only, I am joined the college in law. Then I am very much, as on date, last year itself, I completed another one time completed in distance education.
Dr. Selvaraju for last, say, 25 years. Since the day I landed up in Delhi. He's a health economist. He served as economist in the National Institute of Public Finance and Policy, New Delhi, one of the most premier organization in the area of finance. He also served the World Bank, World Health Organization, Imperial College London, and international agencies such as APT Associates. I request Dr. Selvaraju to facilitate the book.
Thanks, Mr. Singh. So you see this and it's honor and privilege to be with this others together on the occasion of the release of the book this morning. In fact, it's an honor to be president of Indian economic. But the way I came into the scene is like it's funny from the beginning. I know him for quite some time and he's treated at the same way. So we were connected. He actually put me in trouble in the beginning, asking me to review the book. Yes, I studied international economics when I was a student, and after that, I did only one study when I was in NIPP on tariff barriers and then price discrimination products. Beyond that, I had absolutely no idea. I was a bit really afraid that I will damage whatever the work that he has done. Then I found Murli. He happily, or maybe because he had no other option, that he agreed to do this work. But he kept the spot hanging on, saying that I may have to attend meeting at any time. In case if I don't come, then you have to do it. Till yesterday evening, I was under constant kind of you have introduced the right person for Right. So I thought, thank you, Murli, for saving me and also saving money's work. Just being spoiling is not work. You should come to the part of the problem. We have a meeting today. Apart from all the business, I know some of these friends for quite a long time, and that's why I'm also here and keep making this knowledge on. Since I was also asked to review the book, I read out of force, didn't want to cut a sorry fair in front of everybody, so I did read the book. In addition to, I will not be able to add much substance after Murli has spoken about these things. To me, looking at the context of the book, because I also studied general economics, I had a great teacher who was there as teaching in the PG level. I remember still when I was going through the book, I was really reliving my MA days, that book. The difference I could see in this book and then the days I was as a student is, we read books written by class 1 university teachers or professors at very high level. We coming from rural background had really tough time in following and understanding. But for the great teachers I had, I don't think I would have passed given international economics. And why I'm quoting that, looking at Mani's background, the way in which he has come up, and the place where he is teaching, I don't call the E-Road as a small town, it's a big commercial town, but the nature of the work that he does as a college teacher, I think it is always good to soil the hands to understand what is reality. So since he is teaching at a level where students are struggling, probably he is able to sense what these students are going through. Agony. They'll be cursing the teacher, he'll be cursing the students. To bridge that gap, to reduce that kind of attention, probably he must have thought of putting up a book like this one. But I think it genuinely fills that gap between the teacher and student at that level, particularly for UG students. And as Professor Murli rightly said, it has covered almost the entire thing. Crisply, almost everything, every aspect is covered. What is required for students is easily done. Not only that, he has also covered
I think more or less recent developments. So it's a great update, and I think students will be remembering you always when they read this book. Like I remember my Professor Jairaj, they'll be remembering you for this book. And the other thing that I wanted to is, since it is a felicitation, I don't need to appreciate much about the book, which Murli has already done it. One thing that, in addition to what Murli suggested, is probably there is some developments about BRICS. I don't know if I missed, since I did not read seriously as Murli. Probably that is missing, or I did not maybe read it carefully. It is only for your thing. You can always write. You have been doing. I just happened to see your other book on environmental economics. You called me for the release function, I think 2 years ago. So when you do it again, right, I remember this. So when you happen to read it, probably that is, I think, assuming much more importance in the current context, the geopolitics and things like that. So that might be a useful addition to the other thing. The next edition, or any time when you do any other revision of the book. Mani is a Horatius writer. I think I must, since Professor Malaraj is here, I can't imagine a college teacher taking an ICSSR project and then producing paper and articles after articles on tribal economy in the recent past, I think during the Corona time. Series of papers that came up and he used to share with me. It was very interesting to read, not only interesting. I think it attracted some of the policymakers since it is based on Tamil Nadu study. So I think that grant really had a very useful effect on the policy side, which I rarely come across when a project of that kind is given to people like a college teacher. So I don't know, I should say like a college teacher, I am not undermining absolutely, but given the situation, you have done a great job. That's the only thing I would like to re-emphasize. Thank you so much, Mani, and all the best.
Thank you, Sadhuraj. My name is also appearing as a presentation. I worked in the NCRT for more than 20 years and working with children who is in the class 11 and 12 and also in the undergraduate courses. I found this book is immensely helpful for giving an introduction to the issues. I would also very happy if it in the next editions, because when we ask the children why you like a textbook or particularly economics textbooks, they look at it and we want to see the visuals. Lots of visuals. Children also like a lot of website linkages. Children also like many news clips, short stories from the various media that could find a space in this book. That's for school. You can see the international authors also. They include a lot of, because children want to do, whether it is a school student or a university student, they want to see whatever the theoretical developments happen in the area of economics, how these theories are connected with my daily life or the world of economics, economic policies. So if there are box materials, many of box materials and very colorful, attractive news clips and story links, if they are included, and I also dreamed that in the next edition, that book also should have a CD or a web links where the Dr. Mani will be continuously engaging with the students on through the website, through his own blog for as part of this book. Growing. I wish that this book is liked by the students and it becomes more big and big in the coming decades. Congratulations, Dr. Mani. Now let me invite Professor V.K. Malhotra to deliver his presidential address. Before that, let me speak a few words about him. Professor V.K. Malhotra is presently a member secretary, ICSSR. He has earlier served as Chaudhry Charan Singh University as head and professor of economics and also coordinator admissions and evaluations. He has supervised thesis and dissertations of 8 PhD scholars and more than 40 MPhil scholars. His research interests include governance and economic development, corporate governance and performance, intellectual property rights, and India's concerns, foreign trade and investment, etc. Recently, he has successfully completed a research project on governance and development, a study of major states of India. He has also published a book entitled Disaster Management for 2030 Agenda of the SDG, which was published by the eminent, very popular publishing group Palgrave, Springer and Nature, Singapore. And his book is titled as Economics of Education, has been published by the Vikas Publications. He has a number of papers published in well-reputed international and national journals. He is holding many positions and in many universities and research institutes. Today, we are very happy to be with you, sir. Now, let me invite Professor Malhotra to deliver his presidential address.
Thank you, Professor Srinivasan, for such introduction. In fact, meeting friends, being among them, hearing from them their major concerns, understandings, and contributions in itself is a real treat. So it is with this idea that I go about and prefer to look at the things. Meeting you people on this occasion when Professor Mani has come out with a book on international economics and joining our friends from IA also who are attending this book release virtually is, as I said, is a pleasure in itself, and it amounts to somewhere this mutual exchange of thoughts, ideas, and maybe the kind of feelings that we may have, let's say, in our broad domain called economics, and slightly narrowing it down to international economics. As you read out my brief introduction, in that, I mean, you must have seen that I too, as a teacher, have been interested in economics, and I was discussing with my students on governance-related issues also, and maybe some issues pertaining to macroeconomics, etc. Now, I mean, after so many years, I can appreciate the difference between a textbook and a reference book. In fact, we can understand that a reference book gives you few ideas, maybe some direction. Maybe it comes from the vision of the author, but a textbook has got altogether a different purpose. I remember when I used to be a student and was doing my MA economics, our teacher, and we were talking about microeconomics and certain issues in microeconomics, like revealed preference theory. I remember that we were reading it from a number of sources. And then we were repeatedly asking our teachers that which book should we be consulting to understand revealed preference theory, the finer aspects of revealed preference, and maybe the indifference curve analysis, and especially the issues that came across in terms of separation between income effect and substitution effect, because there are different viewpoints in that. Then our teacher suggested me to go for economics by Samuelson. And as a very obedient student, I went to the market. I went first to the library and saw that book of Paul Samuelson there in the library and started to read that. I got so fascinated by it that I went to the market and purchased my own copy. And that is still lying with me. Right. The interesting part was that Paul Samuelson was writing a textbook after he had done wonderfully well in terms of writing scores of papers and scores of reference. So what gets precedence over what in terms of an individual's priorities is a very, very important issue. I can understand that in important universities and research institutions of the world, there is a culture that when you have done sufficiently well in terms of producing papers, doing research work, doing project work, you come down to writing a text. Because it comes from an understanding of 20, 30, 40 years of understanding. I was talking to somebody and I asked this question, what do you think, what is easier, writing a reference book or writing a text book? His answer was, that depends, how do you want to communicate? If you want to communicate very effectively to the audience that you have to cater to, because making somebody understand is perhaps the most difficult task. And making one understand in the words one would prefer to understand is still more difficult. So this is why I said that West has this culture of first putting 30, 40 years in researches, writing references, and then coming down, writing a textbook. You know, try to ever go through that who are the Nobel laureates who have tried to write textbooks. And then you get the feel of the issue. I remember, and when I looked at the arrangement or the content part of this book, I was reminded of post-Augustin's International Banks. Right, you go through and their list is almost of a similar kind. And as Professor Murli very rightly put it, I too was a little surprised that why WTO appears in the theoretical section. Correct. So theoretical section is to be separated from the contemporary issues before the part. And then if there is something which is in addition to that, for example, location issue, I'm yet to go through the book and I'll find out whether we are talking about international locations now or we are talking about domestic locations. Right? Because I know a number of companies in India, corporate units, and their project in charge in India itself, with whom I've interacted on a number of occasions, they have been doing this work in respect of, and I think you can, Professor Murli, you can appreciate, they are doing it in two important contexts, one being trade and the other being investments. And third being, and that too is gaining currency these days, is ecosystem also. Yes, which we popularly term as business or economic environment. All right. So environment is one aspect, but economic environment. This is why every third, fourth day you go for the headlines in an economic newspaper, you find ease of doing is definitely somewhere guiding the headlines. So that thing is again very, very important, I suppose. And there are few areas I think they can be very, very interesting. You have already said something about tariff and non-tariff barriers. I think more than tariff, non-tariff is being talked about these days. The barriers are less imposed these days by tariff, but they are more imposed by contract. And I remember you said fair trade. Long back I read a book, it was an edited one. And I remember the first paper of the book was fair trade or free trade. Yeah. And perhaps it was contributed by G.S. Mehta, if I can recall correctly. Right. So that was the first chapter on international economics, a book on international economics itself. And another interesting part to which I think all of us need to address in coming days is regional groupings. I do not know how this world is now taking shape in coming days over next 10 to 20 years. There were times in 90s, we were talking about, I'm using a word, blatant blatant internationalization or globalization. There came time during last election for the presidential position in United States when they were talking about their own protectionist concerns. I remember when I visited London School of Economics and I was having a discussion with none other than the Director General of ESRC. I put across that after going through this European Union, and since we are talking about Britain wants to make a withdrawal from that, which way do we intend to head in this? Is it multilateralist? Is it plurilateralist? Is it bilateralist? Or is it, if we talk in terms of Prime Minister Modi's words, Atmanirbhar? Right. So which way do you think that we are heading? I remember that she had almost a silent look on my face for a time and said to me in return that, Professor Malhotra, could you suggest us something? Because it is for that independent observers only to tell us which way are we heading. So looking at those things, the whole world, and I see because at IFT you must be doing a lot of research on a new kind of regional groups. Every day we talk about, in a year I'm sure that we talk about 20 to 25 new regional groups. I do not know where should India be going. Right. So whether we are talking about Asia, we are talking about Asia Pacific, we are talking about India-Europe platform being one, we are talking about globalization, and you can look at the fate that WTO has in fact reached or received thus far. What are the bottlenecks? We need to understand those issues very, very clearly. Right. I was reading a report from Carnegie a few days back itself, and they were saying, well, India's time has come when others are talking about the regional groupings. India should be talking about the issues which are in a standstill position at the moment. So the kind of menu that we have, I think it needs to be rightly addressed. My compliments to Professor Mani, who has definitely taken pains to, because I can understand that writing a book for undergraduate or postgraduate students at initial stages who are not very well aware of the research concerns. All right. Sometimes, and let me make it plain because all of us can understand it much better. Sometimes it does happen that we talk of very high kind of things, but our preliminary understanding of the subject is missing. You ask a basic question to a student, well, why does a deficit occur in balance of payment account? How many of us would find very comfortable position in responding to such questions, unless we have a very clear and full understanding of what we intend to talk about. At least I, as a student, could get its answer only in post-order studies. Right, I remember, because every book was right, that finally you balance it. But how do you balance, and how does that deficit occur? So that became the basic questions in one's mind. So writing a book for students to make them understand the basics of a subject. I remember that in theoretical section, as Professor Murli was making a point, and Professor Selvaraju also made a point over and above that, not to belittle anyone's point of view, but just to add to that. The issue is that I see all these theories, whether absolute cost advantage or comparative cost advantage or factor endowment by Hackshaw Rollins or developments therein. I find these developments taking shape as value additions to the existing part of knowledge. I firmly believe that no knowledge in this world exists in isolation with the other. Everybody takes a foundation as given and tries to build his own building over it. And then the cosmetic parts, they also find some interest. I'm happy to see that migration issue, intellectual property right. I have done some work and done few papers also. And very importantly, mergers and acquisitions. Right. I know the thesis about mergers and acquisitions in the world is changing. It is undergoing a lot of changes these days. And as far as corporate social responsibility is concerned, I think this field is yet to take off. Right, and it would take off because there are governance issues among corporates or within corporates and within government systems. So CSR may remain an underachieved reality until the issues pertaining to governance, both in public sector, government functioning, and also in corporate functioning, they are taken care of. This is why I see most of the highly established corporates starting their own kind of CSRs in their units. So trust in outside units is somewhere lacking. And maybe the units which are entrusted with that task outside the corporate framework, they are perhaps not in a position to convince the corporates to that extent. So I think these are largely the issues. And we are talking about international economics when the whole world is looking for a new international economic order. Yes, or at least it is talking. Yeah. So this book, under these circumstances, is definitely a very good app. And one's very high level personal achievement. I know Professor Mani is a very affectionate person. Rather, whenever I visit South, I feel that everybody is perhaps more affectionate than the people we meet. And Professor Murli said in the beginning that or Srinivas said in the beginning that you could share, or he could share his room with you also and invited you to this kind of culture and this kind of affection, especially in academics and research sciences, needs to be built and taken form in days to come. And this is when we definitely are heading for a better and improved ecosystem as far as academic contributions are concerned. So once again, my congratulations to Professor Mani, and thank you friends from IELs for joining us online on this occasion, not only in terms of felicitating one of us, a friend of ours, but also felicitating each one of us for the wonderful work or the appreciation thereof that we intend to undertake. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Malhotra, for this wonderful presidential address, where you also began with the what is a textbook, what is a reference book, and how this book is essential for the students in understanding international issues. And he also quoted many examples of how the textbook is getting evolved in the academic field. Thank you, Professor Malhotra. Now let me invite Dr. Mani, who would like to give a memento to all the participants of this gathering.
Well, why should Dr. Mani be
Mani sir, any moment is available for us.
Still memento. I mean,
Let me invite Dr. Mani to give a moment to Professor Malhotra. Professor D.K. Madan. Thank you. Professor Murli Kalaman. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Silvarajan. Thank you. Due to some unavoidable situation, the managing director of New Century Publications, Sandeep Suri, could not make it to the event. So I request Professor Mani to deliver the vote of thanks.
Really, I thank this opportunity. But in my welcome address, I mentioned that I have not think and imagine such type of invitation and book release function for my book here. It is possible because of IEA and our president and Madanji. Since Sandeep Suri is not here, and also I have keep some words to thank. I join both the publishers' note and as well as my word of thanks. First of all, I wish to pay my tribute for my parents. Yeah. They brought me here, and with in a poverty and everything. That is more. And first of all, I thank and pay my tribute for them. And I thank my institution, Europe Arts College, where I am serving now, where I had my undergraduate and postgraduate education. And now I am serving, I have served there as chairman of the institution for student chairman. In so many ways, this institution has connected with me in life. And my institution has encouraged my department, my secretary and correspondent, principal. All these people are encouraged for my academic work and also for social work. And I thank for them. And third one is for my family. My better half, Gandhi Medri. She is a teacher, school teacher. She is bearing all the pains. Otherwise, it is not possible. She is having more workload as a teacher in a school. That is very good. Currently, he is working up to 1 o'clock. Even then, she is contributing, sharing my work, and it is possible because of her contribution. Her contribution also here in my group. And my son and daughter, they are also bearing certain things. I feel now, and that I missed certain dialogues. Often with my son, he is a very small boy. Now he is 9th standard. Often he dialogue with me. I said no. I'm thinking my thread is cutting you, please. Like that, in certain time, I scolding. Even some time they bear. And here they also understand my work, so that they are also, even this small boy also contributing. My daughter, they are contributing me, but I thank them through this EA and this August gathering. And very importantly, this is possible because of our EA and ES chairman and honorary secretary, Dr. Madan. They are holding a book release function virtually for my environmental economics book at the time of COVID first wave. Now it has become second edition, and for third book, our EA has suggested to have such a function. So I wholeheartedly thank Professor Ji and then Madanji, and I thank Professor Murli. Actually, I asked Murli to present certain critical comments also here. So, yeah, it's good, and I'll correct these things. Whatever the lacunas, after completion of this book, after reading this book, I myself find some thing to be corrected. In such a way, there should be some corrections is needed, and it will be. You please tell me, and it will be corrected in the next edition. So that really it is a wonderful review. I don't expect this is possible because of Selvaraj sir. I thank both of them, Dr. Selvaraj and Murli. And then Madam Rajalakshmi has not able to connect, I think. She told me that she is having certain work after 12:30. We are not able to join with her in time, so that I think she has engaged in that particular activity. I thank Dr. Rajalakshmi, Madam. And then Professor Arnachalam Annachi is joining with us from Cochin. Thank you, Annachi. Yeah. Parmeshwar Rao from Andhra Pradesh is also from, thank you so much, Parmeshwar Rao, joining with us, and Renu Jatana from Jaipur, Rajasthan. She is also from since this program, and Dr. VN Subramaniam, my close friend, he has joined with us, and he is felicitating me or felicitating this function. I thank Dr. VN Subramaniam and Selvaraj sir, his support and felicitation words. It is a unique felicitation words here. I thank Dr. Selvaraj sir, and I thank my good friend Srinivasan sir for his help in this function, also his effective coordination in this function. And I thank Dr. Meghanathan. He is a long friend of me, and we are having some discussion. I am also interested in some educational activities and writing Tamil education. In such a way, I know him, Dr. Meghanathan, and he has took a leave today and came here. So thank you, Dr. Meghanathan. Sabi Munna is he is special current correspondent for Hindu Tamil from Delhi, and his wife is serving as a professor in history in Aligarh Muslim University. She has also written, and we read their contributions, but physically today it is possible through his editor, Mr. Ashokan. I am not expect that he has deputed Sabi Munna to cover these entire things. Thanks for Sabi Munna. Usually they are not presenting or these type of functions here for the whole function, and he is participated with us. And Dr. Kanasabab, he is interested, and he is wish to come physically for this meeting, since he is from nearby our hometown. He wished to come there, though he is having some hectic schedules. He assured me to come here, but unfortunately there are some work associated with him in Coimbatore. so that Kanal Sabha sir is not able to turn up here. I wholeheartedly thank you for Kanal Sabha sir. And then I thank for our VCs, very particularly MP Madhukar and Raskar Pushkar Patak and Nitish Kumar. Yeah, Nitish Kumar and Adish Diolia. These 4 people are continuously helping us for including the digital connectivity and everything. So very particularly Madhukar has helped me more. He reminds certain things and made this function as a grand success. And the people, those who are making audio and video visual programs, and those who are associated with me and helping us to make this function grand success. And also, finally, I thank the person who's assigned the duty for giving water thanks, that is Sandeep Suri. He's a very good friend of me. He's a very nice producer, and he is traditionally from economics family. His father is a professor in the School of Economics. Now he is a publisher. Unfortunately, he is not able to join here. And I thank the people, those who are joined here. I'm not able to see all the faces, but I could able to see certain faces like Professor Suri Kumar from Trichy and Professor Mohana from Palani, Tamil Nadu. And some of the other people are joined, and I think my family members also joined with them. And I wholeheartedly thank all our EA people, those who are joined from both sides, both types of virtual. Once again, I thank you for the IEA and its dignitaries. Thank you.
Finally, I thank Indian Economics Association for helping many of its members to showcase their important contribution in the field of economics. Thank you, President. Thank you, Secretary. And with this, we keep this as the end of this event. Thank you.
We take one photo.
See you, Malhotra sir and Madan sir.
Really so happy to. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Everything.